Alright you fricks, time to give old Uncle Bethesda some ideas for Fallout 5. Don't worry, they're working on Skyrim 6 and some other thing right now, so there's plenty of time to throw ideas at the drawing board. After the butt-blasting flabbergasting disaster that was Fallout 76, I think we can safely say they'll be going back to a single-player game. You don't seriously think that Bethesda pays attention to /v/threads? Believe it or not, companies do actually like to know what their customers want. It's called the not being freaking mentally challenged business model. Settlement building and revisiting the Institute were ideas floated on /v/ before 4 ever came out. Coincidence? Who knows? Setting. Characters. Factions. Wants. Don't wants. Waifus. Go! Any company that listens to fans are mentally challenged. Fans are idiots who have no idea what they want. The ones that have a laundry list are never going to be pleased, so are not worth listening to. The best companies do what they want and let the chips fall where they may. Give the IP to Obsidian. The devs that work at Obsidian already killed the IP once, so why let them do it again? That isn't fair. Most of the Interplay and BIS devs don't work there anymore. Devs that work at Obsidian killed the IP once. Also, devs that killed the IP once don't work there anymore. Personally, I think they should bring back the protagonists from 3, New Vegas and 4. Thanks to the overwhelming success of No Way Home, studios have now realized the incredible insight that fans like to see more of characters that they already like. I know, crazy, right? The Lone Wanderer. Allied to the Capital Wasteland Brotherhood of Steel. Has access to Anchorage and Von Braun simulation technology. Has access to Mothership Zeta technology. The Courier. Owns New Vegas or possibly co-owns with Mr. House. Has access to Big MT cybernetics and teleportation technology and Sierra Madre hologram and fabricator technology. The Sole Survivor. Is the leader of the Institute and has access to an army of synths. I mean, it practically writes itself. You've got your 3 factions right there. All you need is to set it in a state that's somewhere at a midpoint between Nevada, Boston, and DC, and away you go. The guy that voiced Mr. House is dead now, so. But yeah, House was obviously the superior, patrician, intellectual, sophisticated and mature choice. Plebes need not respond. I would like to know what happened to the Legion and NCR as well. There was 0 about them in Fallout 4 from what I can remember. This is prime bait, GJ. How about a system like in Subnautica or some of the Assassin's Creed games where you can report bugs, then they go and fix the guys instead of never fixing them for 20 years? That'd be cool. Fallout Florida, crazy mutated reptiles and theme park cities with crazy Florida man everywhere. We already had Nuka World, and Florida Man is basically just any generic raider. I mean, seriously, there's no difference between modern Florida Man and any Fallout raider, except that Florida Man is slightly worse. Florida Man has demonstrated proficiency in every weapon class and has seemingly every perk. Raiders don't even come close. If they ever make a full Fallout game in Florida, Florida Man should be the game's version of the Ebony Warrior. If you're going to make proc-gen quests, put some serious effort into making them seem less generated and repetitive. Brainstorm and come up with some ideas for recurring quests that might seem natural in the wasteland. Bounty hunting, where you track an NPC across several settlements picking up clues where he went next. Clear out a raider hideout. Find a lost NPC. Smuggle some contraband. Escort a convoy. Assassinate an NPC. Patrol a route between 2 settlements. Transport a package. Spy on a merchant's competitor. Steal an item without getting caught. Make enough of these types that the player will only repeat a few of them a few times, instead of it being the same quest over and over and over again. There's nothing inherently wrong with Radiant or proc-gen quests. They can be fun if they're disguised well enough. But you have to give it enough variety so people don't find it fatiguing and annoying, like with the settlement quests in FO4. Or just don't have randomly generated quests at all and just made good, interesting quests like you're talking about available to everyone. I played Fallout 4, and all its DLCs, for about 260 hours and I only did like 4 of those bullpoop Minutemen quests. They're not needed. It's fine. I disagree. I played a mod that let you start your own bounty hunting business next to Diamond City. It gave you a voiced secretary and a building to customize and everything. The Radiant quests in that mod kicked ass and had heaps of variety. The modder obviously put a lot of effort into making it seem natural. If some random modder can make fun Radiant quests, then so can Bethesda. Sorry, I can't remember the name of the mod, but it was good. How about just remaking the West Coast, following the events of FO1 and FO2 obviously, in the creation engine? I want a hardcore mode where you actually have to struggle like a wasteland lowlife. Bethesda games are always so scared of giving the player any risk, and by mid-game you end up extremely OP with thousands of currency and the leader of all the factions. I want to play as a starving scoundrel barely scraping a living together, being forced to make tough choices to survive. Make me actually consider selling my favorite gun so I can afford clean food and water. Make moral choices actually matter by making the good choice the more difficult one that actually hurts you or inconveniences you somehow. Prevent saves coming by limiting saves, and make us sacrifice and risk our stuff. Get someone to write and voice the bandits better so they sound like insane strung-out drug-addicted savages, not generic gravel-voiced PG-13 baddies. TBH, one of the issues I have with all Bethesda games is that they're all power trips, and all protagonists eventually become flanderized versions of themselves, completely detached from the world they're supposed to be surviving in. That's not to say you shouldn't eventually become a god, but I think the reason a lot of people enjoy Morrowind and NV is because you start off as a lowlife and have to grind in the muck of the world for some time before you become the chosen one. Oblivion, Skyrim, and FO4 practically hand you it at the start, unless you go out of your way to avoid the main quests. Yeah, that's what I always want from an RPG, and what I almost never get. The RPGs where you start as a loser in rags with a rusty sword are always the best, because the loot you get feels like it has actual value. The last few Bethesda games have felt more like a theme park than an RPG. It really sucks what happened to Obsidian because it means we'll never get another game like New Vegas ever again. The FO4 engine with a New Vegas tier RPG would be amazing. I'd hate to imagine a Fallout game through the modern lens of identity politics. It would freaking suck, not because I'm a conservative chud, but because there's just no place for that type of representation because it makes no freaking sense. Nobody is going to be trans in a literal apocalypse, but you just know they'll have trans characters if they do it because you have to have that. Which mentally challenged will call me out and say NV was progressive. Yes, and I have no problem with that. It's just that there is a massive difference in the type of progressive writing you saw in gaming 10 years ago compared to the daycare baby gaga mode poop you see today. What I'm saying isn't that games with strong women or gays in them can't exist. I'm saying the particular brand of current-day identity politics is embarrassing and would completely freaking ruin Fallout. My They/Them companion has just given me a spiel about how late-game capitalism is responsible for the downfall of civilization, a 4 feet 10 inches white trans man that doesn't take no shit from racist fascist transphobes in the friggin' wasteland. My made-up scenario isn't even a stretch, it would happen. Frick the world, frick you for reading my post, and frick life. Setting: Detroit. Characters: mutant animals that have gained human-level intelligence. Factions: fascist dog people versus communist cat people. Wants: romance with characters from both factions. Persuading both factions to come together under a classical republic. Don't wants: brother of steel cringe. Anything to do with father/mother/son plot retardation. Waifus: dog meat. Fur bundles of sticks are not allowed in this thread. Go back to your containment board.